Welcome back to Buy or Sell, the series where you pitch me your predictions for the theme park world, and I either buy or sell them and explain why. If you want your idea considered for the next video, leave a comment below starting with buy or sell. In this episode, we look at what may be the next coaster in Hershey Park's amazing lineup, what the Fury incident means for B&M's relationship with Cedar Fair, and if this $2 billion super park is really coming to Oklahoma. This is Buy or Sell, episode 22. Let's start with Kings Garden 751. Lightning Rod with the lift chain will be exactly the same as it is now. I gave my full thoughts on the lightning rod situation. Check out that video if you want. But basically, they're replacing the LSM launch lift with a high-speed chain lift. This will apparently lift the train up at 13 miles an hour. That's very similar to Millennium Force's cable lift. Will this be exactly the same? No, there's no way the chain lift is going to have the same punch as the LSM lift. But I don't want to be super literal here, and to honor the spirit of the question, I'm buying it. The lift will be different, sure, but I'm sure it won't slow down at the top, trying to emulate the launch as much as possible. And the park does claim it'll still have a top speed of 73 miles an hour. Even if it turns out to be a bit slower, will anyone really notice during the layout? I don't think so. I could be wrong, we'll all have to ride it, but from Drop the Brakes, I don't think it'll be that much different. Not Filipino Animation's TDS. With Great Escape adding the Bobcat, within 4 years, Six Flags gives Frontier City a brand new coaster. I never thought I'd see Great Escape get a new coaster, but here we are. They're getting a Gravity Group family wooden coaster. All it cost them was one of their best existing coasters, Alpine Bobsled. This wasn't open much, but when you have a park as small as Great Escape and you take away one of their coasters, you almost have to replace it. The same goes for Frontier City. I don't think they're in line for any new coaster anytime soon. That is, unless Diamondback gets removed. I've speculated this will happen very soon. It's old, it's not that popular when it's open, and it's rarely open. I don't know why it's always closed, but if its maintenance is problematic, that's more reason to scrap it. Because I think Diamondback is on the chopping block, I'm buying this. That plot of land is small, but it's right next to the parking lot. If Six Flags wanted to give a Bobcat-style coaster to Frontier City, they could carve a piece out of the parking lot to make it happen. Even better, this plot of land seems good for a Vekoma Super Boomerang, the same one Great Adventure is getting. Either way, it would make the loss of Diamondback hurt less. Carl Manning 2603. One of the Woodies at Mount Olympus gets the RMC treatment in the next 5 years. I love the idea of an RMC at Mount Olympus, but I'm selling this. I just don't see any of their 4 wooden coasters as a good RMC candidate. Hades is their signature coaster. It has one of the great layouts of all time. They've already altered this once, but kept it wooden. I think they just retract this when they can. Cyclops has a weird layout, built right into the hillside, and it doesn't seem like something RMC can work with. Zeus could happen, but this might be their best coaster. That is, if you combine ride experience with smoothness. Pegasus is too small to do anything with. They might as well just tear it down and let RMC build something ground up. I could see an Air Force One style ground up coaster here, and I can definitely see a Raptor here, but I can't imagine them transforming one of their 4 Woodies. Calvin Petty 343. A different manufacturer will come up with a counter to Mach's Extreme Spinner. This can come from almost anyone, but it helps if the company has experience with spinning coasters. That doesn't exclude companies like Vekoma or B&M, but I wouldn't count on them. I think you can look more to companies like Intamin or Gerstlauer. Intamin has shown they like to take other people's ideas and tweak them. The Hot Racer, Ultra Splash, the vertical LSM coaster. It would not surprise me at all to see them make their own extreme spinner. I'm buying this. Gerstlauer also builds spinners and launch coasters. And don't sleep on Zamperla. They're stepping up their game. They got a foot in both fields. They're kind of the wild card here. Some random account 5. Hershey Park's next coaster will be a surf coaster. There's really no reason why it can't be a surf coaster. Hershey Park works with B&M, as recently as a few years ago. It seems like Pandemonium is a big hit. They can use another launch coaster, one that isn't as insane as Stormrunner. They don't have a stand-up coaster, and this gimmick can still fit in. All that being said, I'm selling this. It's too specific to buy, and there are so many other options that Hershey Park can go to. For example, why not go for a wing coaster? It would have better capacity. There's nothing like it in the park. The closest one is over at Cedar Point. It would work here. Since we already know Vekoma sold a tilt coaster to Coda Land, Hershey Park can go for one too. This would be different enough from Iron Menace to market. It's one of the best gimmicks in the coaster world. This could happen. Also, we were just talking about a Mach Extreme Spinner. With Hershey's resources, I could definitely see something like that coming to the park. I'm not ruling out the surf coaster. There are just so many other choices, so it's a low percentage play. Super Godzilla fan Justin. American Heartland, Oklahoma won't be open by 2026 due to construction not being done. For those who don't know, there was a new park announced for northeastern Oklahoma. American Heartland is set to cover 125 acres and cost $2 billion. This includes a water park, RV park, 300-room hotel, and the first phase is set to be open in less than 3 years. The hotel and water park may come after. For perspective, Lost Island just opened last year. That's a bit smaller at 90 acres, and it's only 5% of the price tag of this new park. You can see where Lost Island cut their costs down. Their two main coasters are relocations. The park is very open and spread out. It makes you realize the price tag on those rides adds up quick. American Heartland looks like it'll have some coasters also. For $2 billion, I'm sure they can spring for some new ones. The park will have regional themes for different parts of the country. Great Plains, Bayou Bay, Big Timber Falls, Stony Point Harbor, Liberty Village, and Electropolis. The creative team is run by Gene Bicknell, the man who got involved in Pizza Hut shortly after it was created, and ended up owning the most franchises of anyone in the country. His team includes employees that worked on both Disneyland and Disney World. The developer will be Mansion Entertainment, a Branson-based company known for their work for TV. This park is going to be on Route 66, in a town called Veneta, a town of about 5,000 people, 70 minutes from where I am in Tulsa, and it's exciting. Is it too good to be true? Yeah, probably. I'm buying this not being ready on time. One encouraging thing though, as of mid-September, they've already broken ground on Phase 1, and they're already filling construction jobs. Mansion Entertainment has already secured the funding they need to build the park. Still, it seems like a fast turnaround. There always seems to be delays. Economic conditions can change, we all know that. But for those who thought this would never happen at all, it appears they're serious, and money is already being spent on getting it started. Also, Veneta is in Cherokee Nation, and although tribal leaders met with developers last year, they were not made aware of this plan before it was made public. Still, they seem to be supportive of anything that will grow the economy. So many projects die after being announced, and a $2 billion park in this area is very strange. I'm not getting my hopes up super high, but I'm more optimistic now than I was when it was first announced. Waluigi Real. Busch Gardens Williamsburg 2024 coaster is a ground-up RMC Hyper Hybrid. We know that back in 2022, they filed an FAA height waiver for 220 feet. That could mean a lot of different things, but going against what I just said about Hershey Park and the surf coaster, I'm buying this. An RMC Hybrid is one of many options, but they did just work with RMC on Iron Gwazi, and despite the breakdowns and slow dispatches, it seems like it's been very successful. The Busch Gardens parks often follow in each other's footsteps, so I can definitely believe that Williamsburg is next in line for an RMC. I know Twisted Timbers is just an hour away, and it seems like these parks try not to step on each other's toes, but a 200+ foot RMC Hyper Hybrid would be so much more attractive than Twisted Timbers. It would still be marketable. I don't know if it would be better, but that doesn't matter. In the eyes of the GP, it would make Twisted Timbers look like a family ride. I'd love to see it, let's make it happen. Laney G 9637. Six Flags Great America will see a new large-scale coaster within the next 4 years. Great America's last coaster was Max Force in 2019, so with no new coaster coming in 2024, they're looking at a 6-year gap minimum. At this point, I think they should just wait 1 more year and do something big for their 50th anniversary in 2026. I'm buying this. This was actually a suggestion from Mike Galvin, not only celebrating Great America's 50th, but the country's 250th. We saw the chain give Great Adventure a new coaster for their 50th. Magic Mountain was supposed to get Wonder Woman for their 50th. That was only pushed back because of COVID, and Great America is the last of the 3 big parks. If they don't get their new coaster in 2025, I don't think they let 2026 pass by without one. In fact, at this point, it's hard to believe that's even possible. I've been saying it's their turn for an RMC Raptor, and I think this finally happens in 2026. Tribal Tree Goat. Kings Island got a package deal with Vekoma, and will get a new Vekoma Thrill Coaster for 2025. Ever since Vortex closed in 2019, I've been banking on Kings Island getting a mock multi-launch coaster. It seems like the perfect fit here, and even though there are other options that would fit in their lineup, coming off the opening of Copperhead Strike, it seemed logical that Cedar Fair would buy one for one of their other major parks. Now, their new Vekoma Family Boomerang throws a wrench into that plan. I don't know how often package deals are a real thing. People talk about them a lot, but how often does it really happen? That I don't know. Vekoma sells coasters that are very similar to a mock multi-launch. And don't forget about Zamperla. They have their new Lightning coaster, and that can work here also. It could very well happen, but I'm selling it. I think for Kings Island, they go with a sure bet and use mock rides. The biggest wildcard here is price. Maybe Vekoma or Zamperla undercut mock rides. I don't know. Get your popcorn ready and watch the show. C'est la vie. The Fury incident will negatively affect Cedar Fair's relationship with B&M. For those who don't know, this summer, Fury cracked a support. People took video of it. It looked bad. Carowinds closed the ride. B&M manufactured a new support. It was installed, the ride tested, and it was down for less than a month and a half. This made mainstream news. I never thought this was possible when I first heard about this. Cedar Fair has worked with B&M a lot, going back to Raptor in 1994. They've bought 17 total, 5 inverts, 3 hypers, 3 gigas, 3 dives, 1 floorless, 1 stand-up, and 1 wing. I'm selling this. B&M has one of the best reputations of any manufacturer. They've built some of Cedar Fair's most popular rides. They're super reliable, and when this problem arose, they got that new support out very fast, and I don't know if anyone expected them to have it reopened in less than a month and a half. Not to mention, it seems like all coasters have issues with cracks and supports, and the maintenance team takes care of it before it becomes a problem. This may be on Carowinds' maintenance team and not B&M, but I'm not sure. Maybe this was a design flaw. Maybe there was too much stress on that one support. But regardless, I can't imagine this hurts the relationship at all. The way B&M handled it, it may even help it. Yankee Cannonball. A state with no major coasters will receive one by 2030. Let's see our options. These are the states without a major coaster right now. Alaska, Delaware, Hawaii, Kansas, Mississippi, Montana, Nebraska, North Dakota, Rhode Island, South Dakota, Vermont, Wyoming. Not a lot of great options there, obviously. If they were great options, they'd have major parks by now. That being said, people are always moving. Some places in the country become more or less popular over time, and I'm buying that one of these states gets a major coaster. If you ask me which one, there are 4 that stand out. We already talked about American Heartland coming to Veneta, Oklahoma. That's near the intersection of Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, and Kansas. I wouldn't be shocked to see something come to Kansas. Same with Nebraska, maybe Funplex adds something. There's also Mississippi. That seems more populated. There are substantial parks to the west, east, and north, so why not Mississippi? Finally, there's South Dakota, and just a few years ago, Wildwater West submitted documents to build an RMC Raptor. That didn't happen, but it makes you think that could easily happen in the future. I think South Dakota is your best bet, but watch out for Mississippi, those Dust Bowl states. Everyone else, well, maybe Vermont, but maybe not. That's a wrap on episode 22. Let me know what you think of any of these topics, if you agree or disagree, and why. Also, don't forget, if you want your idea considered for the next video, leave it in the comments below, starting with buy or sell. Before you go, don't forget to drop a like, and if you're new here and love coasters, please give me a sub. I have a playlist with all the buy or sell episodes. Also, check out my links below for my Discord server, and my second channel where I post copyright-free off-ride footage, and my baseball channel if you also happen to love baseball. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.